Hi guys, this is Vysh from Vysh IAS and we are going to continue the NCERT series for history. So this is class 8 part 1 chapter 6. That is the last chapter for part 1. Okay, after this part 2 will be started. I will start it today itself. We have to do a lot of work by this month and we have to finish history and geography. That is my target. NCERTs class 6 to class 12, which will be almost covering the almost entire thing, okay, for UPSC prelims. Mains we have to do anyway little more answer writing practice. We have to see previous year question papers and all those things. Prelims also previous year question papers are important, but as and when I do the videos, I tell you a lot of questions. And again, the MCQs. It's time you buy the MCQs. Okay, there are students who bought the MCQs and they are asking for more sets of questions. Okay, already for history, I think 3 to 4 sets are there, close to 350 questions, and everything is picked up from NCERTs and Spectrum. So you can get it at a price from facebook.com by Shayes. Our page is here. Not only for history, for everything, all subjects of UPSC we have separate thing, including schemes, government schemes. We have a PDF. Then economic survey and India yearbook will be having a PDF. Then environment, geography, polity, economy, anything. Okay, science and technology and space. For all those things, we have separate PDF with 100 questions each. Okay, and everything is picked up from current affairs and standard books only. All are good UPSC questions and it will be a good revision for you no matter which source you studied. Okay, because current affairs wherever you study it's going to be common only at the end. Okay, whatever you study will be the same thing others also study, but will be from different sources. So current affairs is again another thing. Current affairs, dedicatedly for current affairs also, I forgot to say that we have I think 5 PDFs, over 500 MCQs are there. So it will have the current affairs of the last 2 years. So even if you couldn't read the magazines or whatever you do for the current affairs, if you couldn't do that, get these things and practice those 500 questions. At least 5 or 6 out of that will come for prelims. Okay, that is what I feel, because we have been picking up from news items only based on UPSC pattern. So now let's see class 8 last chapter. This one is actually not very important for prelims. It's actually telling about the urbanization, or towards the 1940s, 1950s, and all this urbanization or the shifting of population to here and there, growing population, then designing of cities. The New Delhi city was built, the Viceroy Palace was there, the India Gate was there. There are many things. Okay, the old cities like Shahjahanabad or Siri, many cities are there which the Sultanate kings actually developed. Then later British also will develop with many other European architects coming into India and then designing the whole city all over. So it's telling about all those things. So UPSC doesn't ask anything like this in prelims. Okay, maybe in mains they can ask a holistic question about the urbanization or beginning of urbanization in India or something like that. But prelims is like very little. But there are a lot of definitions here and there. So that like it will be bolded, and if not, I'll be highlighting it. So try to memorize that or try to revise it. Okay, because you will be already knowing most of the things. So let's finish off this chapter also and complete class 8 part 1. So the name of the chapter, you see, it is colonialism and the city. I just named it like old Delhi to New Delhi, because that part is being covered here holistically in this chapter. Okay, so what happened to cities under colonial rule? So from countryside to urban, this shift was happening. Okay, so now we'll see that different types of villages, cities and all. The history of a temple town like Madurai will not be the same as that of a manufacturing town like Dhaka, or a port like Surat, or towns that simultaneously served many different functions. So India, it's like diverse. It has a lot of types of environment to live in also. So Madurai was actually a temple town. We know during the time of Pandyas or Cholas it will be famous. We would have done it already. Then Dhaka and Murshidabad will be in Bangladesh now, present Bangladesh, and earlier it was in Bengal. Okay, Indian Bengal you can tell. Then port like Surat. Okay, and Masulipatnam will be there. There are several kind of places. That's how they are beginning the text. Then in most parts of the Western modern cities emerged with industrial. So industrial revolution, it happened in the 1750s, 1850s, and all those time. That time cities started to develop in Britain. Okay, so again Manchester, even during the boycott movement, Swadeshi movement and all, they used to tell like we are boycotting this Manchester cloth and Liverpool salt. So those things you should be knowing. These cities were developed even during those times. Okay, so rapidly in the 19th and 20th centuries they were developing. So jobs, housing, facilities, everything will improve, right? Like now India is also now trying to do that, like houses for everyone, Pakka houses for everyone. That is the vision of the present government of India. And so hopefully India will also have a better city structure. Okay, where there's no too much congestion, or people are having proper houses to stay with proper electricity, proper sanitation, everything. It is being worked upon. So India is also, it's a little bit late, like India started a little bit late we can tell, but now it is on the right track. Now Indian cities did not expand rapidly in the 19th century, that we know, because that time we were more busy with our own things, not like developing the surroundings. Machilipatnam or the present day Masulipatnam. Okay, last year again this was in options in one of the questions. Kakatiya dynasty's most important port was the question. Most of the people attempted it as Masulipatnam because that is the most famous port we know. But the answer was something else. It was Motupalli or something. Okay, now we know the answer, but UPSC will not repeat it immediately. Maybe after 4-5 years they'll again ask the same question. Okay. Presidencies, you know, Calcutta, Bombay, Madras presidencies, okay, which was again center of Britishers, and also the rise of nationalists also, okay, like Bombay side, Bal Gangadhar Tilak will be there. Bengal side again, we have the most of the people, okay, right from Raja Ram Mohan Roy to Surendranath Banerjee, everybody is from Bengal only. Madras also, a lot of people were there. Subramaniam Iyer was there. Madras Mahajan Sabha was a question in 2017, who were the people involved, and it was a little bit difficult because it's a personality related thing, you have to remember the names of the person. Watch the 2017 analysis for more details. I have a video for that. Okay, so it was for administrative purpose that colonial India was divided into presidencies, that you know, and they had forts also. Forts at Bombay they had a fort, Madras they had St. George, and Bengal they had St. Williams, and these were fortified. Okay, they had conflicts with the Bengal ruler Sirajuddaula also, and that is why Battle of Plassey also happened. So such stories are there. Many cities declined, okay, smaller cities declined to when Britishers came. Many town manufacturing specialized goods declining due to a drop in the demand of what they produce. So obviously Indian goods demand was dropping, and so which was initially good or better towns before the British now became to be declining. Okay, old trading centers and ports could not survive when the flow of trade moved to new centers. So obviously Britishers had their own centers, trading centers. It's not like what Indians actually use, the traditional ones. So again, deurbanization you can tell. Okay, deurbanization is what they describe as. Cities such as Machilipatnam, Surat and Seringapatnam, you know, in Mysore also, the treaty was there, Treaty of Seringapatnam after the third Anglo-Mysore War, around 1792 I think. Deurbanized during the 19th century. By the early 12th century, only 11%, early 20th century, only 11% of Indians were living in cities. So you know it's a very minimal amount. Okay. The historic imperial city of Delhi became a dusty provincial town in the 19th century before it was rebuilt as a capital of British India after 1912. You know, initially they had this capital and all, Calcutta, Bengal region, then they gave importance to Awadh, but Delhi was made the capital only later. Okay, after the, you can tell there was a Delhi Darbar also. Different Delhi Darbars are there. I think 3 of them are important. Delhi Darbar 1, 2 and 3. Different viceroys related to that. National Spectrum series I have covered. Try to find out the names. So this thing also happened. Partition of Bengal happened. Then again they nullified it. So these and all were happening around 1911, 1912, and also they decided to build Delhi as a proper capital. Okay, now the rest few of the pages are dealing with Delhi, I think. So we'll see. You know what is urbanization, obviously. So this box, not much important. Process by which more and more people begin to reside in towns and cities. How many Delhis before New Delhi? Okay, that is the statement they put. So Delhi as a capital of modern India we know, but olden days I told you it's like Rajgriha, Pataliputra, then Vaishali, then again Bengal, Dhaka, Murshidabad. These were the important cities. Delhi was never a capital until Tomara dynasty came. Okay, this is one of the first Delhi Sultanate rulers, Tomaras. That is when Delhi was first time made as a capital. Okay. So as many as 14 capital cities were founded in a small area of about 60 square miles on the left bank of the river Jamuna. The remains of all other capitals may be seen on the visit to the modern city-state of Delhi. Okay, so Delhi, I told you, it's a city of cities. Many rulers built their own city, like Alauddin Khilji built the Siri. Then Shahjahanabad is there, which Shah Jahan created. This is the image of Shahjahanabad. If you see, it's more well planned and it is kind of congested. Okay, so the Red Fort will be there, Taj Mahal will be there. It's a black and white picture, so you may not be able to understand what building is what. But in previous classes, I have shown you better pictures of this. Okay, main road to Chandni Chowk, they are telling. So Delhi regions. Okay, those who are in Delhi, they will be knowing. Red Fort. Okay, Red Fort again. Our Prime Minister is like always there on the Independence Day giving the speech. So here some terms are important. I'll tell you when we read that particular line in this text. Okay, the most splendid capital of all was built by Shah Jahan. The Shahjahanabad began in 1639 and consisted of a fort palace complex and the city adjoining it. Lal Killa or the Red Fort, made of red sandstone, contained the palace complex. Okay, so it was kind of a center. To its west lay the walled city with 14 gates. The main streets of Chandni Chowk and Faiz Bazaar were broad enough for royal processions to pass. Okay, so these are all were taken into consideration while building it. Okay, a canal ran down the center of Chandni Chowk. Set amidst densely packed mohallas and several dozen bazaars, the Jama Masjid was among the largest and grandest mosque in India. There was no place higher than this mosque within the city then. Okay, Jama Masjid. Delhi during Shah Jahan's time was also an important center of Sufi culture. Okay, it had several dargahs, khanqahs and idgahs. Okay, so khanqahs and dargahs already I did in previous class also. Idgahs you can see here, it is an open prayer place for Muslim, primarily meant for Eid prayers. Okay, so this is idgah. From the name you can get it. Then khanqah, you know that Sufi lodge where travelers can rest. Okay, and discuss spiritual matters, saints were sitting together. Then the music dance always will be there. Sama and raqs. Okay, Sama means music and raqs means dance. Then dargah, the tomb of the Sufi saint. Okay, so these three very common terms you will know. This term, this cul-de-sac or something, it's like street with a dead end. Here it's mentioned open squares with winding lanes, quiet cul-de-sacs and water channels were the pride of Delhi's residents. Okay, so just a term, not very important. It's mentioned here in box, so I told. It's a street with a dead end. Okay, so one poet name is here, Mir Taki Mir. Okay, he said. One second. He said the streets of Delhi aren't mere streets, they are like the album of a painter. Okay, that is what he told about Delhi. Yet, even this was no ideal city and its delights were enjoyed only by some. There were sharp divisions between rich and poor. Havelis or mansions were interspersed with the far more numerous mud houses of the poor. So, there was a definite divide between the rich and the poor. Okay, the colorful world of poetry and dance was usually enjoyed only by men. Furthermore, celebrations and processions often led to serious conflict. Okay, so that is also there even when the time of Bal Gangadhar Tilak and all that Ganpati festival, Shivaji festival all was there. Again controversial. He was termed as a Hindu leader. So religious problems have been coming and going in India. It will never end also. Again, a good picture of the eastern gate of Jama Masjid in Delhi is shown. Okay, it is a painting by Thomas Daniel. Name not important, but the picture you can see. It is shown in movies also, old movies. Shrine of Nizamuddin Auliya in Delhi. Okay, so we know the different silsilas or different sect of Sufis. The Chishti silsila, I told you many important names in one of the chapters of Bhakti Sufism, and this is again the shrine of one particular Chishti Sikh saint. Sorry, not Sikh, Sufi saint you can tell. Okay, Nizamuddin Auliya in Delhi. Okay. Again, some things are there in the box. You can read it. It's about Nadir Shah coming in 1739 and plundering India. Okay, he was the one who took away the Kohinoor diamond also first. Then making of New Delhi in 1803. Okay, the Britishers gained control over Delhi after defeating the Marathas. Since the capital of British India was Calcutta, the Mughal Emperor was allowed to continue living in the palace complex in the Red Fort. So you know, 1857 Bahadur Shah Savar was there, and suddenly people came there from Meerut and then started the revolt and all. The modern city, which we know as Delhi today, developed only after 1911. Okay, when Delhi became the capital of British India. Okay, that is when Delhi was made the capital. Demolishing a past. Before 1857, developments in Delhi were somewhat different from those in other colonial cities. In Madras, Bombay, or Calcutta, the living spaces of Indians and the British were sharply separated. Okay, the living space of Indians were sharply separated in the three presidencies. India lived in the black areas while the British lived in the well laid out white areas. This we have seen in some other chapter also, like black towns means it is a place where Indians had to reside or Indians had to stay away from the white towns. In Delhi, especially in the first half of the 19th century, the British lived among with the wealthier Indians in the walled city. Okay, the British lived among with the wealthier Indians. That is what happened in the first half of the 19th century. The British learned to enjoy Urdu, Persian culture and poetry and participate in the local festivals. So it's like kind of mingling began, that you can tell, by the 19th century. The establishment of the Delhi College in 1792 led to a great intellectual flowering in the sciences as well as the humanities, largely in the Urdu language. Many refer to the period from 1830 to 1857 as a period of the Delhi Renaissance. Okay, so there is some concept like Delhi Renaissance. You know, Renaissance, like when innovation happens, when science and technology develops, that is the time when you call it Renaissance. Okay, a rebirth kind of thing. So 1830 to 1857, they are telling this is the time when the sciences flourished, humanities flourished, Urdu language and poetry flourished. Okay, because Delhi College also was set up there in 1792. 1792 is the time when Cornwallis was there. If you know, permanent settlement came in 1793. Okay. So here Gulfar Ocean festival of Gulf actually sorry Gulfar Ocean festival of flowers and Renaissance, literally rebirth of art and learning. It is a term often used to describe a time when there is great creative activity. Okay, so this Gulfar Ocean and Renaissance, please try to know what is the meaning. All this changed after 1857 during the revolt that year. As we have seen already, the rebels gathered in the city and persuaded Bahadur Shah to become the leader of the uprising. Delhi remained under rebel control for 4 months. Okay, we have seen that May to September or something, which we saw in the previous chapter. Now again, some lines about Ghalib and all. He has written something not very important. We'll continue here. When the British regained the city, they embarked on a campaign of revenge and plunder. The famous poet Ghalib witnessed these events of the time. This is how he described the ransacking of Delhi in 1857. When the angry lions, that is the British, entered the town, they killed the helpless and burned houses. Hordes of men, women, commoners, noblemen poured out of Delhi from the three gates and took shelter in small communities and towns inside the city. To prevent another rebellion, the British exiled Bahadur Shah to Myanmar, I told you, and by 1862 he will be dying there itself in Rangoon. Dismantled his court, razed several of his palaces, closed down gardens, and built barracks of troops in their palace. So he actually witnessed it, okay, Ghalib, and he is telling the same story again in his own words. That's all. There is no new information here. Again, a picture. So it's actually looking out from the Jama Masjid. Okay, that is how this is how it will be seen. You can see the description there below the picture. The British wanted Delhi to forget its Mughal past. Okay, that was what they wanted, because Mughal, you know, they ruled how many years? Like from 1526 to 1857. 300 years they were there. Okay. So it's not like they were there like fully active, but they were there. Okay, 1857 only it was totally disbanded, you can tell. The British wanted Delhi to forget its Mughal past. The area around the fort was completely cleared of gardens, pavilions, and mosques, though temples were left intact. So again, they had this problem with the Muslims. You know, like we saw the after effect or aftermath of 1857 revolt. They looked Muslims with suspicion. Okay, during this time. Later it will be again fine. You will see when Muhammad Ali Jinnah comes, Muslim League comes. That are all later stories. Okay, the British wanted to clear ground for security reasons. Mosques in particular were either destroyed or put to other uses. Okay, for instance, the Zinat al Masjid was converted into a bakery. Okay, so that much kind of what is it, harsh things they used to do. Okay, the religious place they're converting it into bakery. No worship was allowed in the Jama Masjid for 5 years. Okay, 1/3 of the city was demolished and its canals were filled up. So they are like destroying the entire Mughal history out of it. Okay, that is what Britishers tried. In the 1870s, the western walls of Shahjahanabad were broken to establish the railway and to allow the city to expand beyond the walls. So again, walls were broken because they were expanding the railway lines. Okay, the British now began living in the sprawling civil lines area that came up in the north, away from the Indians in the walled city. The Delhi college was turned into a school and shut down. So overall, if you see Delhi, whatever good things are there, they are all destroying it and they are just rebuilding everything on British lines. Okay. Again, this is actually that image of Darbar. Okay, Delhi Darbar. 3 Darbars are very much important. Match the following question will come. Here, just remember this King George V in Delhi Darbar of 1911. Okay, 1877 it was Queen Victoria, and one more is there. Try to find out that year and details. Who was the person? Who was the king or queen who came, and who was the governor general related to that? That is what is UPSC focuses on. Okay, the British were fully aware of the symbolic importance of Delhi. After the revolt of 1857, many spectacular events were held. Here it's given. Okay, 1877, Viceroy Lytton organized a darbar to acknowledge Queen Victoria. This was again controversial because a famine was happening. Okay, at that time, and these people are celebrating, doing a lavish kind of Delhi darbar. Okay, so one thing is mentioned here itself, and second thing is mentioned here. King George in 1911, and sorry, which one? Queen Victoria in 1877. Okay, Lytton. Victoria was given the title Empress of India. So Calcutta was still the capital of British India, but the Grand Darbar was being in Delhi. During the revolt, the British had realized that the Mughal Emperor was still important to the people, as they saw him as their leader. It was therefore important to celebrate British power with pomp and show in the city. The Mughal emperors earlier ruled, and the palace, which had turned into a rebel stronghold in 1857. So they are telling the reason, even though capital was Calcutta, they did the celebrations like this in Delhi. So reason is they wanted to wipe off this Mughal memories and Mughal history. Okay, wherever Mughals were the greatest leaders, now they wanted Britishers to be the greatest leaders. 1911, the King George V crowned in England. The Darbar was held in Delhi to celebrate the occasion. The decision to shift the capital of India from Calcutta to Delhi was announced at this Darbar. So 1911 only it was announced. New Delhi was constructed as a 10 square mile city of on Raisina Hill. You know, President Rashtrapati Bhavan is there. Raisina dialogue is there in news. Find out what it is. The Taolana dialogue is there in news. Try to find out that also. Then New Delhi was constructed. Okay, again south of the existing city. Two architects. Okay, Edward Lutyens and Herbert Baker. Not very important, but just see these names at least once. Okay, so any time you see somewhere else, you should know. These are the architects who were brought to design the New Delhi. Okay, like that Chandigarh city developed. Who was the person? Okay, he was in news because he got recognition recently. Okay, not like for the first time, but see the site. Okay, Chandigarh city development. The government complex in New Delhi consisted of a 2-mile avenue. See this picture again. The Viceregal Palace, Rashtrapati Bhavan, Raisina Hill. Okay, more details are there. I'll show you. So Rajpath, you know that road. That led to the Viceroy's Palace, now the Rashtrapati Bhavan. Okay, the Viceroy's Palace is the Rashtrapati Bhavan of today. So that road is Rajpath, while the Secretariat buildings on either side of the avenue. Okay, it's all present context. Okay, now the features of these government buildings were borrowed from different periods of India's imperial history, but the overall look was classical Greece. Okay, so this architectural styles, Indian style is there, Greek style is there. For instance, the central dome of the Viceroy Palace was copied from the Buddhist stupa at Sanchi. Okay, and the red sandstone and carved screens or jalis were borrowed from the Mughal architecture. So Buddhism, Mughal, Indo-Muslim architecture, then Greece, India's imperial history, everything is borrowed to form the Delhi city. Okay. Now, Viceroy's Palace was higher than the Shah Jahan's Jama Masjid. So they purposely made it like that also. Okay, because I told you Jama Masjid was one of the biggest, oldest building of that time. Okay, and so Viceroy's Palace was made even higher than that, so that they will be considered supreme. Now New Delhi took nearly 20 years to build. Okay, the idea was to build a city that was stark contrast to Shahjahanabad. That means not too crowded. They wanted much more spacious kind of city. In New Delhi, there were to be broad streets lined with sprawling mansions set in the middle of large compounds. The architects wanted New Delhi to represent a sense of law and order, in contrast to the chaos of Old Delhi. The new city also had to be a clean and healthy space. The British saw overcrowded spaces as unhygienic and unhealthy, the source of disease also, and this meant that the New Delhi had to have a better water supply, sewage disposal, drainage facilities than the old city. Okay, so overall development you can tell. Okay, and now you know the Delhi how it is. Okay, it has these roads, cities, buildings and all, but pollution level, last 2-3 years UPSC's favorite topic also, Delhi. And also after Arvind Kejriwal came, it is again in the news all the time. Okay, for a good reason or bad reason. Then this thing again, a box about Viceroy Hardinge of that time. Okay, he explained the choice of Delhi as a capital. The change would strike the imagination of the people of India and would be accepted by all as the assertion of an unfaltering determination to maintain British rule in India. Again, as I told, they want to be supreme power. So Delhi was the face of their leader. So they wanted to be the face now from now. So Herbert Baker, I told you that architect, again telling some things very unwanted information for UPSC. Life in the time of partition of India 1947, you know, after the Mountbatten Plan, the Radcliffe Boundary Commission and all. So as a result, the population of Delhi swelled, the kinds of jobs people did changed, and the culture of the city became different. So it's about the change in the lifestyle and jobs of Delhi people. Okay, days after India independence and partition, fierce rioting began. Okay, thousands of people in Delhi were killed and their homes looted and burned. As streams of Muslims left Delhi for Pakistan, their place was taken by equally large number of Sikh and Hindu refugees from Pakistan, because you know it was a very painful incident. A lot of videos are there in YouTube, try to watch it. There are movies also based on partition. It's like very painful to watch, but it is the reality. Okay, Hindus were coming here, Muslims were going there. Okay, our own people, everybody lived together in one geographical land, and just because of some external people coming, now everybody is separate and still fighting with each other. Okay, so refugees roamed the streets of Shahjahanabad searching for empty houses to occupy, because everybody had to leave all of a sudden, right? So it's like go and find any house and then get settled. Okay, so obviously there will be killing and riots. At times they forced Muslims to leave or sell their properties. Over 2/3 of the Delhi Muslims migrated. Almost 44,000 homes were abandoned. Terrorized Muslims lived in makeshift campus till they could leave for Pakistan. Okay, the refugee camps and all. As I told, it's very painful. Okay, many people have suffered and still have problems or have sufferings because of that. Delhi became a city of refugees. Okay, any question on partition, you can get points from here. Okay, nearly 5 lakh people. Okay, 5 lakh. Yeah, 5 lakh people were added to Delhi's population, which had a little over 8 lakh people in 1951. Most of these migrants were from Punjab. They stayed in camps, schools, military barracks, gardens, hoping to build new homes. Some got the opportunities to occupy residences that has been vacated. Others were housed in refugee colonies. New colonies such as Lajpat Nagar, Tilak Nagar came up at that time. Shops and stalls were set up. So it's again like trying to regather themselves and try to settle or make a new urban civilization. Okay, after all these partition problems, many of the Muslims who went to Pakistan were artisans, petty traders, and laborers. The new migrants coming to Delhi were rural landlords, lawyers, teachers, traders, and small shopkeepers. Partition changed their lives and their occupations. They had to take up new jobs as hawkers, vendors, carpenters. So some people life degraded, some people life improved. So they are just telling again picture is shown about of a refugee camp. Okay, different taste, different people, different food style, everything will change. Because in India, you know, just travel 1 kilometer, something else will come. Okay, new culture will come. That is how India is. The dialects will change, the lifestyle will change, the dressing style will change. Okay, so in the past, Mughal Delhi's famed canals had brought out only fresh drinking water to homes, but also water for other domestic uses. So about the canal system, okay, this is Bawali. I have told you in multiple chapters also. Okay, near the shrine of Nizamuddin Awliya it is. Okay. In one of the another chapter I told you something called Basholi. Okay, tell me what is Basholi, and now Bawali is a different thing. Okay, try to recall what is Basholi. If you don't remember, watch all the series again. The system of wells also broke down, channels to remove water. So it's just a water, not much important. The broke down canals could not serve the needs of this rapidly increasing population. At the end of the 19th century, the Shahjahani trains were closed and new system of open surface trains was introduced. The system too was soon overburdened, and many of the wealthier inhabitants complained about the stench from the roadside privies and the overflowing of open drains. The Delhi Municipal Corporation Committee (DMC) was unwilling to spend money on a good drainage system. Okay, so on drainage system they did not spend money initially, but people were complaining. Again, Chandni Chowk in Delhi in the late 19th century. See how it is, and now how it is. Okay. Though millions of rupees were being spent on drainage system in New Delhi area. Okay, so different places, different kind of they were spending money. Okay, the decline of Havelis. The Mughal aristocracy in the 17th and 18th century lived in grand mansions called Havelis. You know what is Haveli, obviously. A map of the mid 19th century showed at least 100 such Havelis, which were large walled compounds of mansions. The Haveli housed many families. On entering the Haveli, through a beautiful gateway, you reach an open courtyard surrounded by public rooms. They're just describing Haveli, we don't need it. Even in the mid 19th century, Kamar al-Din Khan's Haveli, some person's Haveli had several structures within it and included housing for the cart drivers, tent pitchers. So it had rooms for everyone, even the household servants. Okay, so Haveli, you know, anyway, it's a big bungalow kind of thing. So Amir, you know, nobleman. Okay. Many of the Mughal amirs were unable to maintain these large establishments under conditions of British rule. Havelis therefore began to be subdivided and sold. Often the street front of the Havelis became shops or warehouses. Some Havelis were taken over by the upcoming mercantile class, but many fell into decay and disease. The colonial bungalow was quite different. Okay, one picture is shown here, colonial bungalow in New Delhi. It had a pitched roof and usually set at 1 or 2 acres of open ground. It had separate living and dining rooms and bedrooms and a wide veranda. I don't know why I am reading all this. It's not important for UPSC. UPSC won't ask this much detailing of urbanization. Okay. Municipality began to plan. The census of 1931 revealed that the walled city area was horribly crowded with as many as 90% per acre. Okay, so again urbanization happening. I am just skipping all these things. Okay, now. So old city to new city, they are killing the transformation. Okay. It was more well planned, and then urbanization also improved. Partition, after the partition, more and more people came, the job changed, the lifestyle changed. Okay, this is what they're telling. Maybe last paragraph we'll see. The Delhi Improvement Trust was set up in 1936, and it built areas like Daryaganj South for wealthy Indians. Houses were grouped around parks. Within the houses, space was divided according to the new rules of privacy. Instead of spaces being shared of many families and groups, now different members of the same family had their own private spaces. These are all not at all required. Okay, so elsewhere what was happening in South Africa, something else was happening. Okay, Herbert Baker in South Africa, again an architect of the same Herbert Baker. So his works there also if you see beautiful buildings are made. Okay, maybe the most important buildings, like here we have the Rashtrapati Bhavan and all, they have their own important buildings. True or false? In the Western world, modern cities grew with industrialization. That is true. Surat and Machilipatnam developed in the 19th century. That is false, because earlier it was developed and then it was degrading or deurbanizing. In the 20th century, the majority of Indians lived in cities. A false statement. Only 11% lived. We have seen this. After 1857, no worship was allowed in the Jama Masjid for 5 years. That is also true. More money was spent on cleaning Old Delhi than New Delhi. Okay, that was actually wrong. They were spending more and more money on New Delhi. Okay, the old canal system, drain system were all degrading. Okay, they did not spend money. Fill in the blanks if you try to answer for yourself. Okay, again it's simple things only whatever we've seen, and they are asking you to compare New Delhi versus Shahjahanabad. Who lived in the white areas in the city? You know that. So I'll come up with the class 8 part 2 soon. So try to revise, try to buy MCQs, speed up your preparation. Okay, tell me for any doubts. So thank you and have a nice day.